Chairshot Reality on WrestleZone.com. Continuing on here the weekend, we got the CSR Originals. Josh Eisenberg's down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm Justin LeBar here in Point Park University in Pittsburgh. An old-time favorite, it is reality checks. We toss out a statement and we say if it's reality or not. Simple enough. Here we go. Reality check or not, Jinder Mahal as WWE Champion has lost its momentum.
Man, that's a tough one. I don't think that's a reality. I think Jinder Mahal right now as WWE Champion is still a good thing because there's a lot of options that you can use on SmackDown Live. But Jinder Mahal is still, for lack of a better term, still the fresh option. It's the fresh option for WWE because I do think you have him and Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam, a match we haven't seen. You can still use Jinder Mahal and John Cena, a match that we've not really seen. So there's more fresh feuds for Jinder Mahal on SmackDown. I don't think his championship reign has been a disappointment. A lot of people said that about JBL when he had his year-long reign, but you go back in history, and that's something that you remember. You remember JBL as a long-time SmackDown champion. I think Jinder Mahal has done everything he's been able to do right now. He's not the absolute best on the mic. He's not the absolute best in the ring, but he is polarizing. He's looked the part. He is the part, and I think it is not a reality for that with Jinder Mahal. Heading on to my former boy, Enzo Amore. Justin, reality check or not, Enzo Amore should be concerned with his role on WWE Raw.
I'm going to say this is a reality, but I'm going to put some asterisks to it. It's the case of, we hear the rumors about, he's kicked off the bus in Europe and he's being, get kicked out of the locker room. And we always have to take those rumors with a grain of salt about, how what gets taken out of context, what do we really know what's going on in the locker room. But then WWE basically confirms it by having JBL and Corey Graves talk about it on Bring It to the Table on the WWE Network. So there's certainly, where there's smoke, there's certainly fire here. So he should be concerned because, all these reports, he's got to be concerned about his spot on Raw. Raw is the flagship show. It is Vince McMahon's baby. So if if there's talk of moving you off, that's usually not a good sign for your career. At least it doesn't mean that you're moving upwards, you're moving sideways or backwards. So, if they're talking 205 Live or NXT, hopefully I would say NXT is the better fit personally. Both the crowd that's there, NXT still has a cool factor. Plus NXT would get him off the road from these current peers in the locker room. Apparently he's rubbing the wrong way. So, I would be concerned if I'm Enzo, but again, the asterisk there, things can always change. JBL even used The Miz as an example. The Miz is the one guy who went through some of the same stuff, rubbed people the wrong way, and obviously he's earned their respect and earned his stay. So, it's not like Enzo's career is done. This could just be a minor setback and what could be a very long, successful career. So let's not write him off, but there definitely is something to these reports. And if I'm Enzo Amore, I certainly, need to be looking out for my best interest and best behavior moving forward. Josh, reality check or not, reuniting Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins in a sort of Shield kind of reunion, that would be a step backwards for these two.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to say it is not a reality. And I'll tell you this, I would love to see those two guys back together for a brief period. But this time, wouldn't it suit Dean Ambrose better to be the one that gets his ultimate revenge and turns his back on Seth Rollins? Push these guys as two of the top faces in the company back together. Maybe tease a little Roman Reigns here and there. When the Shield broke up, they were still extremely hot. I thought it was the right time because you were ready for one of these guys to take a huge step forward, and that ended up being Seth Rollins, followed by the mixed reaction for Roman Reigns, a handful of months later down the road. But if you have these two guys getting a chance to be tag team champions, you get the crowd behind them, even possibly teasing a little bit of use of a former Shield gear, really going full out with this, it would make a Dean Ambrose heel turn so much more effective. And isn't that what we really want right now, Justin? We need a Dean Ambrose heel turn. Anybody wants anything good to happen, and we need Dean Ambrose to be that guy to turn heel. We have too many faces ahead of him on WWE Raw. Consider the Rollinses, the Finn Balor's. The list goes on WWE Raw with really good faces. So you need a legitimate badass heel. And I think Dean Ambrose, given the right time and build with a teasing of a Shield reunion, it could be that guy. It could be that born heel on WWE Raw. Last one for you, Justin. Reality check or not, as split up now, Chad Gable will prove to be the more successful member of American Alpha.
I'm going to say this is not a reality. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not looking for Chad Gable to fail, but I don't understand this all of a sudden just because people aren't necessarily completely behind Jason Jordan as the storyline son of Kurt Angle, that people all of a sudden now want him to fail and almost want, out of spite to the storyline, want Chad Gable to go through the roof and be a main eventer all of a sudden. I mean, I think both guys, let's have both guys succeed. I don't think there necessarily has to be a Marty Jannetty in this situation. I do think Jason Jordan, he's got a lot more to go. If you're betting, you got a lot more to bet on right now with Jason Jordan, both because they're giving him this rub, however it resolves, whether he remains Kurt Angle's son, whether he turns on Kurt Angle or something else. He's also got the size. He's got more size than Chad Gable, and like it or not, people, size does matter. This is a visual business. So, I don't think either guy is doomed to fail necessarily, but I don't understand the all of a sudden heavy bandwagon that is now for Chad Gable, basically again out of spite. He's a good wrestler. He's a little bit smaller, but we've seen smaller guys succeed, especially in the recent years. But I don't think that I'm ready to say that he's going to be the guy who's going to prove WWE wrong, that they picked the wrong guy in America Alpha. Who knows? Maybe he'll be Kurt's son too. Maybe Kurt gets another reveal next year for Father's Day. Who knows?
Well, maybe Justin, maybe just maybe. Well, maybe just maybe, Justin, if size really mattered, let's be completely honest with you, I'd be the guy that's verified on Twitter and not you. And that's a scientific fact.
He's here all weekend, folks. At Josh Eisenberg 4 on Twitter, at Justin LeVar. Coming up next, we wrap the weekend up. We'll talk about Shane McMahon. Shane O'Mac going to put on the zebra stripes, and he's going to be refereeing for Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, and we'll see where that leads us. Don't miss that conversation. Coming up next here on CSR.